Welcome to Hey Therapist. I'm your host, Leslie Ross. With me is my producer, Jay Wesley Lindley. Let's get mental.
Welcome. Here we are.
We're going to continue that episode from last week. So if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go listen. However, as random as we are, you can probably just continue on with this one and not miss a beat. So let's go.
Let's go with Leslie and Riley.
So next, let's talk about secure attachment style.
Oh.
Nope. Here we go.
Okay.
So like we said before, it is the most commonly attachment style in Western society. But it's only around 66% of the U.S. population is securely attached. So even though it is the most common, by what margin, right? Like it's not a whole lot of people. But those with secure attachment style either grew up feeling emotionally and physically safe and that were able to interact with the world in a healthy way. Caregivers were emotionally available. They were sensitive to the needs. They responded appropriately. Most likely, you've done the work and created that because, again, most people do not grow up in secure attachment styles. Now, I do believe that this number might shift. I believe that the generations now who are doing the work, who therapy is important for, who all of those things, mental health is more forefront than it's ever been in the history of the world. I do believe that even though I think kids are missing out on some things because there's some gentle parenting that's gone wrong, there's some other things that are happening out there, I do believe that they are growing up in more loving, supportive environments than before. So
I agree with that.
I don't know the actual numbers, but I just feel like these generations coming up that are having babies now are more mindful about the way they were raised, not putting that on their kids. What is actually wrong? Because again, a lot of parents, grandparents, those people who raised kids knew what they knew. This is how it's always been done. This is how my parents did it. Mental health, parenting, all of those things were not out there. Like no one really even talked about parenting and how to parent until the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
No one was really even looking at it. It was a spare the rod, spoil the child generations, you know. So there's a lot of things that happened that they may have been doing the best they could, but it's not what you needed. So just be mindful of that. Kiddos who grew up in households that were secure, you know, they were probably soothed. They probably had good, trusting relationships. They felt comfortable seeking and receiving support from others. And securely attached individuals can have relationships and get caught up in those little misunderstandings or worry, but no, this isn't the relationship. So when something goes wrong, it's more of a curiosity. It's more of, wait, that was weird. Why did that just happen? Instead of this was intentional, I'm not worthy, this is a me issue. You know, it's more, okay, what's going on with them? Because I know that this isn't normal to our relationship, or this isn't normally the way I operate in a relationship. So I need to be curious and figure out what's going on there. The comfortableness of expressing emotions with others is there. Being comfortable depending on people is also there. You know, with some of our other attachment styles, fearful and avoidant especially, and even anxious really, there's no way that someone who is in some other attachment style would feel comfortable putting things in someone else's hands.
Yeah.
You know, a securely attached person is like, okay, I know you are going to take care of this. Yes. I know you're going to be mindful of this. I know that you're going to protect my heart, my safety, my whatever. I know that you're going to talk positive about me in the rooms I'm not in. And a lot of the other attachment styles do not feel that.
Yeah.
They feel that, oh, what are they doing? Why are they not with, blah, blah. You know, it just brings up that, well, they don't care anyway, or I'm going to start a fight. They're out there having fun. I'm going to start a fight.
Yeah.
Like, where are they?
That takes me back to, so I have not always been the secure attachment guy. I just pausing you talking about the childhood, I didn't have all of those needs met, but I've had to put in a lot of work to be where I'm at right now, to have worked to that secure attachment or that secure place in my life. But I go back to a time where I would get in my head a lot of times where I was like, oh, they must be talking about me. Or things like that. And if you have those feelings, baby, you're not secure. Okay. So if you're that person that walks into a room and be like, oh my gosh, they must be over there talking about me, or did they say that? Or did they look at me weird? Did they do this? More than likely, you are not secure. So if you're listening to this and she's going through all of this and you're like, oh, I do that. I want you to actually dig deep, because I had to do this same thing, because I know for a fact that I had anxious attachment before. And it came back to me having a lot of childhood trauma and things being left. There was a lot I had to work through to be where I'm at today. So just because I didn't grow up with all those things, I was able to go to therapy, work on myself, do the work to be where I'm at this moment. But it does take me back to, I remember times of being even with friends. And were y'all talking about me last time? I remember saying that. Because I was so anxious. That anxious side of me would come out of, well, they must not like me. Or why would they be talking about, you know what I mean? Like, you get into all those headspaces. And if you're in those headspaces, or you're thinking about those things right now as I'm talking about it, and you're like, yeah, I just did that last night when I was out and about. Then obviously when she goes over anxious attachment or avoidant, you're probably going to 100% line up with some of those. So definitely, take the test for sure. But just to pause you there, to just because I don't want people to be like, well, you've talked about your trauma from your childhood. Why would that line up to where you're at today? So I don't want there to be a misconception, because I didn't have that, guys, as a childhood. Like, they're right. Leslie and I talked about this. We have some trauma from childhood and things that we've been through. It's still an everyday work. I mean, I still get up every day and I'm like, okay, Riley, you're going to do this, this, and this today. You're going to work through this, this, and this. We're going to ask ourselves, why am I feeling that? Like, there's the reason why I bring these things up is because it's work that I do myself and I know it works. So anyways, I didn't mean to pause you there, but I just definitely wanted to insert where that I know for a fact that I've been in my life and I'm like, whew, there's a lot of work to be at that place. And I still continue to work. It's like I said, I didn't put on the superhero cape of secure attachment and just fly in like Superman and now I'm stuck as secure. I have to continue to work to be secure. Yeah. I didn't just, I won the Golden Globe over here and I get to remain there. Like, it's not like that, guys. So
the goal is to be securely attached. Yeah. Right? Our goal is to be securely attached.
But we still have all the others too.
You still have all the others. And I always say I'm anxiously attached, but I am securely attached, anxious leaning. If you want to put it that way. You
kind of have
like, I both, know that when I know what I know about attachment styles, I'm very securely attached. I also have anxious traits.
But in those moments, okay, because you are we talk on the phone quite a bit now. And in those moments that we have had private discussions, you call your own self out.
Oh, for sure.
So here's the deal. You are aware, just like I'm aware, because I've said those things too. I'd be like, now I know my ass would do this, this, and this. And I know that I can get in that place quick. So this is why I do this and this to avoid it. So you being able to be self-aware and have that consciousness to call yourself out. So I do believe that you do have an anxious attachment, but you are very secure.
Oh, yes.
Like, you are very secure. So I think that you used to live a whole lot in anxious.
Whole lot. Yeah.
But you are very aware of how to get yourself out of that place.
Yes.
And you know how to avoid that place too. So I do agree with that, because I do know that when I took the test, I did the one that you have to pay for, because I wanted the very extensive, I wanted a very legit one. And the way that it broke it down, and obviously I can't show you my screen or anything like that, but it gives you this like diagram and these like level of numbers. And like on mine, like, let's just say, like, if secure set here, I set right here on secure. And so I'm sitting like right underneath it. And then on anxious, let's say that anxious is here and I'm setting here. You know what I mean? So it's like I still inhibit some of those traits.
Absolutely.
But I set way more secure. So guys, when she's saying that, like, it's not based around like, I just only am secure and I'm perfect.
Right.
No. That's not what we're saying. So it gives you like this like level and this number, and like if 40 being, oh my God, 40 is the most anxious that you're at, and 158 is where you're like further away from anxious. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Yeah. So when you take this test, and I highly encourage that you do that, obviously listen to what we have to say, and you're going to be able to relate to all of these. Every one of us relate to all of these. But take the test so that it actually will give you your end result of what you are the strongest in, so you know where to kind of work on. And it's kind of a jump off point.
Yeah, for sure.
So you know.
For sure. And it could be too, because something popped in my head when you were talking just now, and we're talking about where it comes from and how we get these attachment styles. It does almost all come from childhood. Now, you could have had a good childhood and then been in a terrible relationship that you got stuck in. And I say get stuck in because sometimes you're stuck. Like, you don't have options. Let me rephrase that. There's always options out there, but you may not be able to see them. You may not be able to take them at the time. You may not be able to do whatever it is that gets you out of this relationship that is creating some of these patterns in your personality. But also, it could be that you had a good childhood, but there were some deaths that happened early on. When my grandpa died, who was my favorite person in the world, I can still remember every detail about that night. And I can't remember proms. I don't remember my first kiss, like, realistically. I don't remember it. I know it happened. I know where it happened. I don't remember. I still remember every detail about the night he died. And that was one of the first times someone that I loved left me. They were gone.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
And so, it can come from anywhere that you're fearful of someone leaving, that you become anxious because people leave, all of those things. It's not necessarily that you had bad parents. You may be sitting here going, well, I had really good parents. My childhood was fine, but I'm an avoidant. I'm anxious. I'm fearful. Where did that come from? I don't know. It might just be the way your brain developed. Like, you need to look. It doesn't matter where it came from. What matters is the work you do to move through it. Right. And so that's where you're always, like Riley was saying, you're going to have these traits. Like, you're always going to have these traits. You're going to have these things pop up. It's about that self-awareness. Yeah. Because I am very secure. I can deal with a lot of things. Like, when we get through the rest of these, I'm very secure, but I'm anxious leaning. Like, I have those moments, and then I'm like, stop it. What are you doing, brain? Yes. I got to call somebody. I got to talk about this. I got to figure this out. I know this is just a me thing.
When we talked recently about a situation, you literally were like, immediately, I know exactly what I need to do. I mean, the thing is sometimes we just need that person to talk it out with us, and just like, exactly. You know what the hell you're supposed to be doing, and you know the right answer to this. And that is what we call self-awareness.
Yes.
And it's so important. And you to be self-aware, and you work. And if you're not a self-aware person, I'm going to tell you that is a trait that you need to develop.
Which is where the work we're talking about comes in. It
does. But it is you that is a very, very important trait a person needs to have. And it's not just about being self-aware and it is just self-awareness in general. Yes. If you do not know what that means, you need to Google it so that you better understand what self-awareness means and how it is a correlation with you.
Because it does help to be a securely attached person, to know and understand yourself. You can't be healthy in relationships and friendships and anything if you don't understand yourself, if you don't know how you operate in the world, if you don't know why you do what you do. You need to understand that. And that's one of the things that, those with secure attachment have the ability to do, is to not take those things personally, to take criticism, to accept criticism as for what it is. Okay, this person is seeing this. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt your feelings. Yeah. Because you're still a human. You may be okay with criticism. You may be okay with someone, saying, can you do this better? Or I don't like it when you do that. You may go, oh, okay. But you're right. I probably do need to do that better. I need to look separately at this and not take it as a personal attack. Take it as their intent to make you a better person, if that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if someone is being manipulative or abusive or whatever and saying things, then that's a whole different story. But as a securely attached person, you're going to be able to recognize the difference. You're going to know this person really has my best interest at heart, or this person's really trying to take advantage of me. I don't like that. Or they're calling me out on something that they have no space speaking on. That's not okay. But as a securely attached person, you're going to know that because you know yourself better. And if it does create conflict or issues or a confrontation or someone gets loud, you're not matching that energy. You're about resolution. You're about problem solving. You're about fixing it. You're about having those conversations to figure out a better way. It's about bringing people together and problem solving instead of blaming and accusing and going back on your heels and being defensive and all of those things. It's, oh, wait a minute. Okay, that didn't make you feel good. That didn't make me feel good. Let's figure it out together, not blaming or running or bolting or accusing or spiraling. You're just like, oh, okay, that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
What now? And that really is one of the signifiers of a securely attached person. You feel comfortable being with someone. You feel comfortable with closeness. You feel comfortable being all in and trusting someone until they show you that you can't trust them. Like, you're going to do those things and see what happens. You're able to self-regulate. You're able to understand what's going on and manage your emotions effectively when you're feeling stressed and anxious. And if you're not managing your emotions well, you're able to recognize that too.
Yeah.
You know, I've been very, very stressed over the last few weeks. I made a comment to someone and I was like, I've just been in a mood the last few weeks. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? And they called out a whole different situation that has nothing to do with why I was in the mood. Like, I've been in a mood because of this work stuff. I've been in a mood because I don't know my future. I've been in a mood because of all of these things. It has nothing to do with something else that was going on, but that's where they went. And I'm like, but that's not even, like, I'm just telling you this is why I haven't been doing something, is because I've been in it. So I've been avoiding general conversations. I've been avoiding chit chat. I've been avoiding because I know that I don't have the capacity for it right now. Like, I don't have the capacity for general hee-hawing with people. Like, I just don't. But it's one thing and not the other. But when people think they know you, they try to make it something else. It's like, no, it doesn't even have anything to do with that. I'm fine with this situation. Like, it's about work, but okay, whatever you want to believe.
When that happened, how did you feel when that person said that, though, to you? Like seriously.
Yeah, it was just like, come on, man. Like, you didn't even ask.
Yeah.
You know, this other thing is going on that's been a stressor for months now, but it's really gotten worse in the past few weeks because we still don't have an answer. We thought we were going to have all these things, but you assumed that it was because of this. And it's like, that's okay. I mean, really, honestly, I was just like, okay.
We put a lot of pressure on other people because we take this back to accountability with you and I. We expect people to react the same way that we would react.
Yes.
And answer. And it's a very hard place to be in because we have very high expectations of people that we love. It's not fair for us to do that to other people just because we are that person.
Absolutely.
We want people to react the same way. We want people to do the same thing that we would do, but that's not always the case. That is for sure a sign of someone that is secure. And most people would read that and be like, well, that doesn't sound secure to me. No, it is secure because the thing is you knew your emotions, you knew your feelings, you knew exactly what you were talking about, and you knew how you would have reacted if the tables were turned.
Right.
So it's not easy to be healed. I do not want this to be absorbed wrong. A lot of times, secure attachment or someone that knows themselves, that is very self-aware, is under more scrutiny. than the person that has the avoidant, has an anxious, has a fearful, because most people that inhibit that attachment style, the other people in the room already know that they're that person.
Yeah.
But because you are a secure person, you are a self-aware person, everyone in the room already knows that because you exude that. The energy's there. So guess what? Our accountability sets really high for ourselves, but the other people in the room also put us on a pedestal.
Yeah.
They do. And this is a conversation I just had literally this week with one of my closest friends. She deals with this as well. We are held at a completely different level. Every person around us can be doing horrible things. We can't get a sprinkle of a mustard seed wrong, or we are scrutinized, and it is, you're going down. But everyone else can do it because the level of accountability that we're also held at by other people in the room, and they don't even know they're doing it. They have no idea that they're doing it. But it's like, oh, I expect better out of you.
Yes.
But they don't expect better about anyone else. They expect better out of us. So when you are this person, don't think it's just the easiest place to be in the world. It's not easy in a relationship. It's not easy in your family. It's not easy in friendships. It's a hard place to be, but it's a very good place to be. Don't be scared of being this person. But I know for a fact how you're feeling, because I've too had that happen recently. But I was very self-aware in that moment of like, they don't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
I know that that's just, I hate to say this, it is who they are
It's who
in
they
this
are.
moment. They could be better. They absolutely could have chosen different words, different phrasing, different reactions, different all those things. But the thing is that the learning lesson in it is, this is what I don't want to do to other people.
Yeah. That is truly who they are.
That
It's who they're going to be.
it is, until you see the work
Don't
in
know
themselves.
why I expected any different.
You don't know why, because there's not sometimes changes in their behavior. So you're like, they're not working on themselves. Okay, cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Now I know not to call you.
Yes.
So if you want to
Yes.
know why I'm removing myself from probably having deep conversations with you, here is your sign. And I'm not even going to tell you. There's no point in telling you.
No, because you're not going to hear it.
You're
You don't
not going to
understand
hear
it.
it. You're going to think that I'm better than you, or you're going to say that I think that I'm better than you, or that I'm more knowledgeable than you. So, but whatever you need to come up with, I'll be the villain in your story.
right.
I know enough about you already in our friendship to know that it's a hard place for you to be in, because you want them to have the same
Yes.
reaction that we would.
For sure. And I think it's a good point that, when you are securely attached, when you have done the work, when you've done the growth, you don't always get the grace that everybody else gets, because people do expect more from you. Oh, I didn't think you would get mad about that. Or, oh, why are you acting like that? Why are you having a reaction? Why are you upset by that? I thought you would understand. So you did something bad because you thought I would understand, which I do, but it doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
And so there is a different level, a different expectation of behaviors when you are the more healed person in any relationship.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times too, depending on the person, they are going to take advantage of you. They're going to do things because they know you'll tolerate it. They're going to do things because they know you're going to give them grace. And it's up to you how much you want to give. Like, again, I can give grace all day. I can understand this is who you are. You didn't mean it that way, all of that. That doesn't mean I have to have those conversations with you anymore.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that I have to put myself out there and be vulnerable with you.
When you are on that journey of becoming self-aware and more secure, and you move into more of that secure mindset, what also changes in our brain that I have noticed about myself, and that I also have noticed about you too, and anyone else in my life that does lean in that secure attachment style, we don't chameleon in a room or change our reactions, the way that we speak, the way that we react to anything for anyone.
Right.
Because we are secure in who we are and what we have to say. We typically would not speak on something that we are not versed in, that we are not fully aware of, that we are not educated in, and self-aware for ourselves. A lot of situations, anyone that doesn't inhibit that is like, well, I couldn't say that to them, but I can say it to you.
Right.
There's the difference. Is a secure person will say it to both.
Yeah.
The same thing. So that is definitely, if you find yourself where that you are chameleon into a conversation of this one over here is talking about this group, and you chameleon, even though you don't fully believe it. And then over here, you do have a group that you fully stand strong in a certain topic. You chameleon into that group, but that's really truly who you are. But over here, that topic changes.
Okay.
As an example, politics. You're in a group of politics. Right now, that's a big situation. You have someone speaking against a social change or a social problem going on right now in politics. The group over here to your right is saying one thing that you fully stand strong in. You believe in everything that they're saying. The group over to the left says a few things, but you don't want to hurt someone's feelings in the group. When you're talking to the group in the left, you go in and you chameleon. You're like, oh yeah, I believe that same thing. But your belief doesn't stand strong to the right, but it only changes to the left. That is you not being a secure individual. Right. So that's just an example of if you are teetering on, oh, well, maybe I am secure. No, you're not fully secure if that is some of the things you're doing, because a secure person just stands in the room and they say it regardless. They, and not to be rude, they don't stay. The thing is being a secure person is not saying it abruptly or rudely or anything like that. Like, you're delivering it in a way, because you also know how to deliver things at this point, that is secure in how you believe, with conviction and with kindness, with grace, with all of those things. Because we always say at the end of the podcast, be a good human. Like, we always want to do that. That's the one thing, like, we want to move to, like, in that secure world. Be a good human, please. I think that's too a struggle that you and I face, is we don't understand. There's such a disconnect with us in certain groups and crowds. And the thing is we don't stand higher than. It's not that. It has nothing to do with that. But when I say that, my brain will absolutely disconnect when I'm like, that's not what you said over there. So then I'm like, okay, I got to perk my ear up, and listen. So the accountability, it's just when we talk about accountability and where we see ourselves and how that is for us, it's because we also hold our own actions accountable, not just other people. Right. So
I think that, and that's a very important part of being secure, of being self-aware of all of those things, is knowing and being ready to say, you know what, my bad.
Yeah.
I messed up. I misspoke. I got into my own head.
Yep.
Whatever it is, and saying, yeah, I'm not perfect. I screwed up. I'm sorry. And then, hoping that the other person accepts that, and knowing, though, if they don't, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's that piece that's in there, is just knowing that you're going to be okay and that it is fine. A lot of times it is hard for a secure attachment person to be in a relationship with certain attachment styles, because it makes the other attachment styles recognize they have to be better. And so they're not ready to take that accountability. They're not ready to make changes. They're not ready for any of that. So once they can't push your boundaries, once they can't manipulate you, once they know that if you're like, okay, cool, move around, you mean it.
Yeah.
They'll go away. And it does suck sometimes, because, I'll tolerate a lot of things if I see work happening. I will tolerate it for as long as I can. And that's what they know. Like, listen, this is not a behavior I'm going to accept, but I'm going to give you a chance to fix it. If you say you're trying, I need to see the try. I need to see growth. I need to see change. I don't expect things to happen overnight, because people are people and change is hard, but I expect to see something.
Yeah.
And if you're not giving me that, I'm gonna be like, you know what? We've talked about this, and we may talk about it again, and we may talk about it again, but there'll be a day where I'm just like, yeah, I'm done talking about it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Because you're not ready.
Well, and there's no one that can disconnect and move on faster than a secure person. So
absolutely,
like, there is truly, guys, we can move on faster than anyone. You can literally burn a bridge with us. And I mean, I say that, I said it at the beginning of the year, my cutoff game is stronger than any. And the one reason why my cutoff game is so strong is because I am very secure in who I am. I don't need to give you an explanation. You know what you did. I shouldn't have to tell you. I shouldn't have to raise awareness around that when you know what the problem you caused. I gave you the opportunity to fix it. I've been very gracious in that. You didn't fix it. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no qualms about it for me. Like, I'm just like, okay, like I can move on. I can look back and be like, oh, we had great times together, but it doesn't cause me to want to go back and try to start building the wooden bridge back.
Yeah.
Not at all for me.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to miss you. It doesn't mean that I don't still love you. It doesn't mean any of those things. It means that the behavior you displayed is not what I want in my life.
And I choose better.
And I want peace. If you don't bring peace to me, you can keep going, because I have enough stress in life. Life is hard. Life is hard for all of us. What I want is someone to bring comfort and safety and peace. And if you don't do that, you may be a great person, but you're not my person anymore.
Exactly.
And we may still be friends, but we're not in a relationship. We're not going to move that way until, and if you ever say, I want to try again, I'm going to say, what work have you done? How are you going to handle this then?
Yeah.
How are you going to handle these things that were handled poorly, the things that you didn't do well, the things that I needed that you never provided? How are you going to handle that now? And if you say, well, I've done this work and this is why I did it, and I recognize this about myself, and I really want to do better, and I want to try again, and okay, we can try again if I still have those feelings for you. But depending on the time gap, I may have just moved on.
Yeah.
Like, and that's okay. Yeah. You don't have to give people second chances. You don't have to always forgive and let them back into your life. And if you do, you don't have to feel bad about going, yeah, no, this isn't working anymore again. Yeah. I'm out. Like, you get to choose who is in your life and what you want that to bring. So if you're listening and you recognize that you're not securely attached, and you want to be, think about those early relationships. What was your childhood like? What did it feel like to be a child? What did it feel like to have your needs met or not met? What are you wanting that to look like? And figure out how that works for your life, because it is about, why do I feel this way? What in me feels this way? Where do I remember feeling this way? If you're like, I don't know why I feel this way. Okay, when was the first time you remember feeling this way? What was happening? Who was there? How did you feel? Really take it back as far as you can to understand what those feelings are, and pay attention to that. Pay attention to how you feel close in a relationship. If you're feeling anxious or insecure, why? What about how you were raised is there? What about the last relationship was there? We do want to look back and see our childhoods as happy and loved, and we want to find the good parts of it and go, well, and make the excuses like we talked about earlier for, well, they were doing the best they could, or she loved me, she just don't have. Okay, but accept that. Mom may not have been a good mom. She may be a good person now. She may not have been a good mom then. Dad may not have been a good dad. Again, they may have changed. They may have done work. They may have grown to be a better person. Maybe one or the other or both had addiction issues, and now they're clean and they're wanting to step up. That's great. You still have the wounds of their behavior before. Yeah. You don't have to give them a free pass. You can let them in. You can accept this is who they are now, but you also have to heal who they were then. And that's how we move into that securely attached, to being secure in our relationships, and learn how to express your needs and want in a clear way. We're not attacking. We're not judging someone else's behavior, because it's not about them, right? It's about you and what you need and what you know you want and what you know you expect. And you express that in a clear way, and you help people understand where you're coming from. It really is about that problem solving. This is what I need. The behavior that I see from you, and when this behavior happens, I feel this way. I want us to come up with a better way. I want us to figure out what's going on. I want to understand why you do it. Like, for them, they may not even think about it, because they're not someone who's used to checking in. They're not someone who's used to talking about emotions. Like, a lot of people do not know how to talk about their emotions. They avoid it. They try to distract from it because they don't really know how. They may believe it makes them seem weak, or they may have these beliefs that it makes them not as good, or it makes them whatever.
Yeah.
But you need to have those conversations. So how do we have those conversations? How do we help them feel comfortable and secure and have those conversations about what you need? And it really is about remaining calm and sincere and going into it with, I always call it the doe-eyed questioning. Like, but tell me why. You put on your Disney voice and you go in, but okay, help me understand then. Not why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Help me understand why you feel like this behavior is appropriate. Help me understand your thought process, because that's going to help someone open up too. If you're being curious about them, if you're coming into it with I'm not going to fight with you about this. I'm not trying to fight with you. I just want to have a conversation and understand, that builds that secure attachment, and it will help you become more securely attached too. When you can have those conversations with your partner, with your friends, with the people, like it brings it together.
I have to bring this up because I just saw this last night. I read this post. It was a boyfriend and girlfriend situation. And it was from the boyfriend's point of view that he said, I woke up this morning to find out that my girlfriend went through my phone. I wasn't mad. I didn't get angry. She found nothing. Instead of me approaching her in the wrong manner, I got up before she did, made her coffee, went to the store, got breakfast, and bought her flowers, and came back and made sure that she felt secure from here on out. It was a gentle reminder of our reaction to all things matter. And he said, I hugged her and said, I want to know who hurt you so bad and understand you better so that you are able to move through that pain. And he explained it. He was like, so many times people get, so angry and they're like, why did you go through my phone? He said, I have nothing to hide from her.
Right.
Because I'm not cheating on her. I've never I never wanted to cheat on her. But why did you feel the need to do that?
Right.
And what have you been through in your past that we need to heal? And let me heal that. And I was like, ooh, because how many times, from our personal experiences, have we been there and someone gently just say, listen, let's work on this. Let's heal this together. Let's move through this together. That is, first of all, that's a very secure man. For the love of God, like, sign me up for that. And for him to be so vulnerable, also to put it out there in the world. But I didn't feel like it was a clickbait situation. I felt like it was a very genuine thing for him to share. And the world needs that right now. The world needs to see that there are good people out there. There are good men out there. There are good women out there. There are good partners out there that are willing to work with you through your insecurities that have come from trauma place that's put you into an avoidant place, that's put you into an anxious place, that's gotten you to a fearful place before. Don't take advantage, like you said.
Yeah.
Don't take advantage of these people. She probably learned a very, very valuable lesson that day of, hey, this is probably not the person I need to question. And if I do this very much, I'm going to turn him into a situation that he doesn't want to be with me.
Right.
So you get your few chances to work on that. So if you're that person that does question a partner continuously, and that partner has done nothing but still place you in a very secure place, not manipulating, but a very secure place, and has proven time and time again that they're doing good and they want the best for you, and they're challenging you to level up. You continue to combat that secure person will only handle so much. They will call it off.
Yeah.
They will absolutely be a person that says, listen, I have nothing to prove to you. And they're going to try to find, their goal is to find another secure person that already has worked through those issues and be with that person that challenges them to even be better than what they are today.
Right.
And that's what a secure person wants. A secure individual really is seeking out someone that does match their energy at that level, that has been through the pain and has worked through those areas, and they truly are challenging you to be better beyond where you're even at. It's not about, we've hit this level of secure and like there's no place beyond that.
Right.
There's always room for growth. There's always room to be better. There's always room to be better than we were yesterday. If you're stuck in a situation and you both are not challenging each other to be better, then start there.
If you're on the path to being secure, if you're on the path working to yourself, if you're on the path of any of the things that we talk about, really just be patient with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Change does not happen overnight.
Oh, God, don't.
And you're going to have issues. You're going to backslide, if you will. You're going to revert to some old behaviors when you get in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is about recognizing that and going, ooh, that didn't feel good. That's not the person I want to be anymore. How do I move forward? How do I correct that? How do I keep from it happening again? And that's really what about all the growth is, and self-awareness and all of those things is really working to become the person you want to be. Mm-hmm. And it's making a choice every day to change your behaviors. And if you have a day where you just want to be just grumpy McGrump face and not work on being better, okay, but don't put that on other people.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, don't push that off on another person, and admit that that's the place that you're in, and be upfront with yourself about it too. I literally had a moment the other day that I was just like, I know that I've not been the best to be around. I've had a lot of stress around me. I've had a lot of stress in my personal life, a lot of stress in my business life, but I don't want it to affect other people. Like that is where I'm at, is like that self-awareness does pop in, where I'm like, I don't want this to affect my friends. I don't want this to affect my relationships. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like to feel like that. And I know that it wasn't forever. You know what I mean? And I think that you being able to sit in that and to admit, like, I'm having a bad day. It truly can just be a bad moment. It doesn't have to be an entire bad day. You can have a bad 30 minutes. You can have a bad hour. And then you can move past that and be like, you know what? I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to move beyond that and work to be a better person.
So let's move on. Let's talk about anxious attachment style.
Oh.
We're going to do it. On that note, everyone, we are going to stop this episode. We are going to continue this conversation next week. So join us next week.
We will see you guys then.
Thank you for joining us on Hey Therapist. For my co-host, Riley DeWitt, I'm Leslie Ross. You can contact us on the website at heytherapist.com or on our socials at Hey Therapist Social. Hey Therapist is an SEOK radio production and is for your entertainment purposes only. Thank you for joining us. Make good choices.